This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho there. It's Jeff Cutter welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And for the first time in 7 days, I will give you an on this day because I couldn't find anything else that I hadn't covered from last year. Anyway, today's on this day is on June 8th, 1976. A shocking revelation happened. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. That is a hockey card of Bobby Orr in a Chicago Blackhawks outfit, in a uniform. Everyone's like, wait a minute, that's fan made. Nope, I'm afraid not. That is truly, truly a card. But how did we get to this point? Let me tell you. So anyway, Bobby Orr was the star of the Boston Bruins. A lot of people said, oh, Boston must have hit the jackpot when they drafted him. Well, incorrect. Bobby Orr was not drafted by the Boston Bruins. Bobby Orr wasn't drafted at all. See, when Orr was 15 and playing in a junior-style tournament, Boston scouts decided to go after him and sign him to a Class C form, meaning that they could own Orr's rights and all that before he turned 18. Of course, you know the draft has to be 18, right? Mm-hmm. So the fact of the matter is that Bobby Orr was signed to Boston, and Boston had a sponsor team in the OHL, the Oshawa Generals. Orr helped Oshawa out to do well. And then once he turned 18, he played for the Boston Bruins. He won the Calder Trophy for Rookie of the Year. I think he won for Rookie of the Year. Can't remember if he did. But anyway, Bobby Orr was a rookie sensation in Boston. Well, it started flatly for Boston, but they started to pick up ground, especially picking up Phil Esposito in that lopsided trade with the Blackhawks late in '67. So thus, Boston started getting better and better. Bobby Orr was the hero on May 10th, 1970, getting the overtime goal to give Boston the Stanley Cup. It's a little bit overrated with the fact that Boston was up 3-0, but it's an overtime winner to win the Stanley Cup. So how often does that happen? Not very often. I believe Jason Arnott is the last guy to do that. And he did that in 2000. Regardless, Bobby Orr was a hero to Boston. Boston was a dominant force. Don Cherry coached Bobby Orr for a while. However, the one problem with Bobby Orr, his knees, especially his left knee. He had like 9 surgeries on his left knee. And this is in the archaic surgery phase that, it's not as easy with the microscopic surgeries that you can do nowadays. This is the 1970s, 4 to 5 decades ago. So the fact was that Bobby Orr was hurt. He kept getting his left knees hurt. If it wasn't for Bobby Orr's knees, then he would have been the greatest defenseman of all time. I think he still is, despite the fact he's injured, but injuries curtailed his career. So anyhow, Bobby Orr's knees were really bad, to the point that he rarely played for Boston anymore. And in June 1976, he shocked everyone by signing a free agent contract with the Chicago Blackhawks. Boston didn't want him, and Orr fell hurt by Boston. Of course, most people will know that's not the end of the story, and it's not. I'll come back to it, but I just wanted to give a little context. So Orr was a Blackhawk. Chicago hit the jackpot. The Blackhawks were middling. They were okay. They had Tony Esposito in nets. They still had Bobby Hull. Oh, no, they didn't have Bobby Hull. What am I thinking? They had Stan Mikita. They had some other players. But the Blackhawks thought they struck gold. Well, unfortunately, Bobby Orr didn't do much for the Chicago Blackhawks. He rarely played for the Hawks, if any. His knees just were not there. And after 2.5 years, he decided to hang them up. Early in 1978, retired, and Bobby Orr got his number retired by the Bruins in 1979. January 1979, if I'm seriously right? Before a game against the Soviets? But yeah, Bobby Orr was still a Boston legend, despite the fact he played for the Blackhawks. I think, in a sense, he might have been the best defenseman ever to play for one franchise. I mean, you're thinking Eddie Shore for the Bruins. No. Eddie Shore played for the New York Americans. People forget about that. Like, I know Dennis Potvin, I think, is the greatest defenseman to play for one team and one team only. I can't think of anyone else who was really there. Tim Horton played for the Rangers. He's still at least a legend. Yeah. So as is, Bobby Orr was just terrible. The Blackhawks didn't get much return for him. Boston still did well without Orr, getting to the final in 77 and 78, which was weird. And of course, losing that famous 7-game series in 1979. The only problem was that, it wasn't found out till much later in 1990 when Alan Eagleson, who was the major owner, agent of Bobby Orr, who thought he could give Bobby Orr everything he wanted. After Eagleson was investigated, Orr found out in 1990 that Eagleson not only was skimming funds off of him and making sure he ended up being bankrupt, but the problem was Eagleson hid from Bobby Orr the fact that the Boston Bruins were going to give him a contract and a 10% stake in the team. Can you imagine Bobby Orr being a player owner? I know Mario Lemieux did in 2000, but still, Bobby Orr could have been a legend. He owns 10% of the Bruins. But Eagleson held back. I think Eagleson wanted more because Eagleson would have gotten a fee. Eagleson's corruption led to Orr breaking everything off from Eagleson and being one of the key members to say that Eagleson sucked. And I don't blame Orr one freaking bit. He got bit and he bit back. But anyway, I digress. Bobby Orr is a Chicago Blackhawks. Say it ain't so. It's like, that doesn't fit. Tim Horton leaving the Leafs in his 23rd season to join the Rangers. That did not make sense. Nothing makes sense anymore. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.